Daily stock market update. What are we looking at today on the 18th of December? Well, the 25 basis point cut to 3.75% by the Bank of England on interest rates had a split of 5-4. But the more important thing is that it looks like their guidance, which goes alongside that, is that this is not the end of cuts. Of course, if you've only got a 5-4 split, it suggests that the next cut certainly won't be January or February. But by keeping that hope alive that there'll be future cuts, that's good for, obviously, the UK market, consumer spending, consumer sentiment. There'll be quite a few people before Christmas thinking to themselves, hey, sweetheart, next year we're going to have a bit more money to spend. So good for consumers, obviously good for businesses, lower borrowing costs for businesses. Good for government in terms of it should have some positive impact, one hopes. Now, that's a bit more mixed in terms of government borrowing costs, but partly because the markets will look further ahead and look at whether or not that might mean a worse economy going forward and what it means for the pound as well. So I'm not going to try and unravel what it's going to mean for government borrowing costs. Let's just say nothing overly negative at the moment. So wage growth has been increasing, but inflation hasn't. GDP has stagnated. Those are the reasons why. The economy has not been growing. Inflation has been under control. Two reasons why cutting interest rates, they feel they can do it. We're only at 2023 levels, I believe it is. So it's not as if we're back to the heady days of 1%, 0.5%, whatever it was after the financial crisis. Turning to the US, and of course, I'm recording this just before American markets open. Equity futures, which give an indication of how the cash market, i.e. the indices and the individual stocks might open, they're up slightly. The S&P is up 0.61%. Now, just to give you an idea, anything between 0.5% to 1% is pretty strong for a futures contract to open. NASDAQ 100 up 1%. Now, whether or not the market by the end of the day holds on to those gains gives you a pretty good indication of whether or not there is conviction buying and strength. If it closes near the highs of the day, that suggests there's strong momentum in the market. If it tends to fizzle out and close near the lows of the day, or open up higher and then close negative territory, those are obviously negative and suggest some weakness. But equally, don't read too much into it for your longer term holdings. Short term daily noise and news are next to irrelevant for the longer term for you. The Magnificent 7 index is up over 1%, though on a day-to-day basis, that really does look like random movements of, I don't know, pollen on water, if you remember your physics from school. The bond market is important because the bond market is one of the largest, most liquid markets in the world. And as goes the bond market, so goes the economy, and it can give early signals. Sadly, most people don't understand it. 10-year Treasury yields are down. Now, what that means is people are buying bonds. They want to lock in higher rates of interest. It's like getting a fixed deposit at a bank. You might as well put the money in now because you think interest rates might fall later on. And that's, some of them are fixing in 10-year fixes. Okay. Now, you and I wouldn't get a 10-year fix. We wouldn't want it. We want more liquidity. But there are pension funds and the like out there who'd be happy to have that. Other governments who'd be happy to do that. From those movements, there's nothing much to worry about. You should actually be worried if yields rise, because that means people are selling bonds, and they're usually selling bonds, as happened when Liz Truss was Prime Minister, because they worry about the health of the economy as a whole. If that's the reason why they're selling it, then we should be worried. Small movements like this, either way, you might read about them now and again. They really don't impact our stock investments. And that's really important, because 99% of news and information you see does not lead to any action needing to be taken on your investments. It's noise, it's news, that's fine. Okay. So don't be distracted or put off course. Away from inflation, the macro picture, okay, jobless claims, they're in line with expectations. So there's nothing giving us surprises. What we're looking for when we're reading all of this is there an early warning of something which could become bigger? One of the most important things to have is rational judgment. So there's no conspiracy theories in all of this and things that we're looking for. So not sort of Michael Burry type of crazy thoughts about the world is about to crash tomorrow morning. May well crash. I don't think human race will probably survive another 100 years because of AI, but that doesn't impact what my AI or nuclear war or something else, pandemic, but that doesn't impact what I'm going to do today in terms of the investments. And it's keeping clear what we're doing, what we're looking at from what other voices might be going on in people's heads. It's important. Commodities holding their own, as it were. Oil prices have been around the $56 mark. That's fine. Fine for the stock market. Nothing to worry about. Natural gas up a little bit. Precious metals steady. Gold barely budged. Silver barely budged from what happened yesterday. Crypto up to $89,000, up 3.5%. That's nothing. That is noise. Ether is up 5.66%. I've got a bit of Ether somewhere. I didn't really do particularly well with it. But, the idea is to hold it forever, and that's it. Accenture, they did beat on earnings and on revenue. So what is called the bottom and top line. The bottom line is earnings or profits, because in the accounts, that's the order in which they come. It's the bottom line. And the top line is revenue, because sales come in at the top of your accounts, and then little things come out of it like staff costs. Okay, so that's good. But Accenture has been one of those stocks which has been disappointing me for several years. It's not one off the back of single piece of news like that I would go out and buy. Cintas and CarMax also beat expectations. This is good. If companies are beating expectations, then it suggests expectations are not overblown, and prices go up when expectations are beaten. We've taken this into the boardroom and the workplace, where we say, I just want to manage your expectations. I'm going to lowball this, and then you try and overachieve. Well, people have realized that from the corporate world and the investing world that actually works. So these expectations have been beaten, which is good for the stock market because it keeps everybody happy. If the expectations become too high, and you deliver great work, great profits, but don't beat those expectations, prices fall. So again, that term you might have heard of many years ago, which is your stock is rising, happens when you've exceeded the expectations that you yourself set for a piece of work. And it's the same in the corporate world. And at the moment, these expectations are being beaten. The companies which are the biggest movers at the moment, Lululemon is up 7%, SanDisk is up 10%, Micron up 12%. Now, I want to mention those specifically because in yesterday's webinar, which you can watch again at alpeshpatel.com/shares, I mentioned some of the biggest movers of the year to date. And in those, Micron's up 166% already this year. GE Vernova, which pre-market was one of the bigger fallers, is up 102% so far this year. Palantir is up 150%, Lam Research up 125%. But going back to Micron, looks like they're continuing up, up another 14%, continuing that rise up. Micron is one of the quality 5+ stocks that I own. But it is not off that short-term momentum, and it is not one which, at the start of the year, if you told me it's going to go up this much, I would have guessed or known. Because we don't buy just purely on momentum. We look at the hypothesis first. If the hypothesis were stocks which are doing well, buy more of them, then we can test that, and that doesn't work well necessarily as a strong hypothesis. So the bottom line being, again, SanDisk wasn't one of the big moves, but today's the big mover, up at 10%. Don't buy on momentum alone because you haven't tested it. That's the lesson I wanted to tell you. Inflation data is cooler than expected, which again suggests that the US can reduce interest rates. So the market's been up because of that. So I'm speaking to you just as US market is opened. And also Micron is up because of earnings. they had strong profitability. Now, that's very important because Micron itself isn't important, but the fact that you've got companies beating expectations. So it's one thing to have profits. It's another thing to beat the hurdle of expectations. That is very positive. So if there's any warning signs I'm looking for on the upside, any positive signals I'm looking for, this is the positive type of signal that I'm getting. Warning signs I'm really not getting, other than everybody's jubilant and buoyant, and that in itself is a warning sign, but it's just so distant in terms of likely impact on the stock market that it's not something which is currently bothering me too much at all. I've done other videos on TikTok, on YouTube, on when I would exit the market. So have a look at those in terms of the S&P 500. But certainly, as I speak to you, the S&P 500 is now up over 1%, and that's strong. If it keeps holding that to the end of the year, then I'm more than happy to say on the 18th of December we're going to get that Santa Claus rally for sure, because of those two twin track things: stronger earnings, beating expectations, whether it's Micron or anybody else, and also inflation cooling. That is incredible. Part of the reason for inflation cooling, which if you remember, because of Trump tariffs, the view was it'll push up prices because the taxes will get put back onto the individuals, is because he seems to have navigated this Goldilocks road of increasing taxes, but the companies have, because they were already highly profitable, have been able to absorb more of that, and it's not had the inflationary impact we were worried it would have. Okay, so it's not had the negative impact. And given the profitability of these companies and the spending that those profits are leading to, which in itself is inflationary and could overheat the economy, the fact that you impose tariffs and taxes on people turned out to be a positive thing to rein in some of the price inflation anyway, okay, and probably prevent a bubble. Now, whether that's by accident or not doesn't really matter, because the thing that's important is it's happened. It is no negative thing that Broadcom lost 4.5%, which I happen to own. Nvidia and Advanced Micro Devices also fell off the back of that. So did Oracle, 5%. Reason it's no bad thing is because actually you need these rises to be tempered and timely, not just going at extreme pace, which you might want it to do. But if it isn't in a controlled manner, then you're more likely to have bubbles and more bumps. So it's a perverse thing. It is just that glide path. So on days when a Broadcom, Nvidia, or Advanced Micro, or Oracle falls, it's actually relatively good news for a healthy economy, because they will revert back once cooler heads prevail. So I want you to be aware of looking at things in that regard as well. And that consumer price index rose by 2.7% in November in the US on an annualized basis. So that is not inflationary at all, given that 2.7 would be closer to whatever internal marker the Fed has of what they want to try and target and keep it below. Okay, big request. Have a look at campaignforamillion.com, because more people see the website, the more I want to do these videos, because the website has a lot of free materials, lots of free tools, but we get the data every day. And if we get people going to the website and we think these videos are worth it, also with these videos, please comment. Okay, do save them, but also comment. Costs you nothing to comment. But if you comment, the video goes to more people. I get more viewers. If I get more viewers, I continue doing these. It's as simple as that. So it's a win for me. It's a win for you. It's a win for the other people seeing it. So please, please, please take a second to comment if you've enjoyed the video. Even if you've not enjoyed it, please let us know. Okay, any of those things. But please also click on the link in the bio as well, and campaignforamillion.com, because those two little things, we monitor the outputs and we say, okay, Alpesh, it's worth you doing these videos because we are getting more people on the website using the free tools, the free resources. Otherwise, it's like, okay, look, just go sit on a beach because nobody's bothered what you're saying anyway. So either way, please do that. Thank you all very much.